leaving is not an option. So it's like, okay, cool. Who do we need to see? Let's book a session. Right, let's do it. Are you free Saturday? We jump on. We have a therapy session. Like, we're so committed to working through it. And the quicker, the better. This is the thing. I see a lot of people where they hold on to resentment for years.
Hello, I'm Ali Dado, and this is Separate Bathrooms. We would like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, the traditional custodians of this land, and pay our respects to the elders both past and present. Hello, Mr. Dado.
I was wondering how you were going to do that.
I try to do it different, almost. I'm a C Dad, Cam Dad, Cameron Dado, Mr. Dado,
Mr.
Laird Dado. I think you're at one point. Laird.
I don't know if I am a laird.
Wait, you're
No,
not?
because you're the lady.
Yeah, but because you're married to me, doesn't make you
I
a
don't
laird.
think I automatically get a laird title. I think I have to buy some land
You might
as
need
well.
to buy some land in Scotland. That square foot of land might need to, so we can be laird and lady together.
You know, I met a dude in Adelaide last weekend.
I know.
He's Lord. He decided to be a lord because you can be a lord, a laird, or
either.
yeah.
Okay.
Men can be a laird or a lord.
Laird sounds more Scottish to me for some reason.
Yeah, see, I'd never heard of that. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Oh, okay.
Laird.
You prefer to be a lord.
Hell yes.
Lord Voldemort.
Lord.
Yep.
Lord Dado.
All right.
You excited about today?
Yes.
I spent quite a bit of time researching this
Yes.
couple. When I looked at them, I thought we were interviewing us.
What?
Okay, he's a father, he's a husband, he's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a podcaster. He's married to an author, a podcaster, an ex-model. So we're kind of sort of similar, right? They got a beautiful lifestyle and they generously share their wisdom and their knowledge.
They're both incredibly successful at life. They've got an enormous fan base on their socials with their respective podcasts, and we want to know how they make what they do look so effortless and healthy. Please welcome Melissa Ambrosini and Nick Broadhurst.
Melissa and Nick, welcome to the bathroom. You guys look taut, tanned and terrific.
Coming,
thank you.
coming to us from Noosa. What a gorgeous place to live.
Oh, no. And it's new digs you're coming from.
Yes, we literally just moved a few days ago. We're currently knocking our house down in Noosa and building the dream, the forever home. So it's a lot. It's a lot, but it's good fun.
That's exciting. Oh, what an exciting thing to do. Oh,
Have you done it before?
We've not ever built from scratch. We've always renovated. So this is our first time being able to design from the ground up. So, the house it's a beautiful, beautiful home. And we hope that we never have to move ever again. 'Cause it's,
yeah.
yeah. We're very happy there.
Yeah, good on you.
Sounds like a book in the making.
Another book in the
Could be.
making. Renovator's dream.
Yeah.
Listen, we always start with the first question. If you could share with us your love story, how did you two meet?
Do you want me to start?
Go for it.
Well, we actually knew each other about 3 years before we got together. He was in a relationship, I was in a relationship, and I knew that he was a serial monogamist. I knew that he was a very loyal, beautiful man. So I always would see him at events and I'd think, oh, he's such a good catch and he's handsome, but then that was it. I didn't go any further because I just knew he was in a relationship. And we both found ourselves single at the same time, and we kept on being put in the same room at different events. And I remember just being so drawn to him and just wanting to talk to him. I could not have cared less about what was going on with everyone else. I was like, and then you were in Sneaky Sound System, and then what happened? And then what? And like that was literally me, and I would just drink in and tell me then this and that. Like I was so interested in him, but not from like I wanted something out of him or I even really thought it was going to go any further. I was just genuinely really interested. And then we ended up dating, and after 2 weeks of being together, he proposed to me.
Nick.
2 weeks.
We thought we were quick, but that's way quicker.
Wait, it gets better. And then we got married 5.5 months later, and that is going on almost 10 years ago now. And people used to say to me, when you know, you know. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I met him and I was like, I know.
Yeah.
I get it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That is a pretty wild story. I mean, we haven't had a
Not-
2-weeker.
Not like that. Not like
We're
that.
a 2.5-monther before we got engaged, but we had a year-long engagement. But that's a quick turnaround. Nick, you knew awfully quick. What was it about Melissa that you knew within 2 weeks you were going to ask her to marry you?
You know, it's the most surreal feeling. I think it was like, it was literally like I was being guided by some invisible force. I just knew that I was just going through the motions like, okay, this is it. Let's go get a ring. Let's go. There was no question. There was no doubt. There was no fear. There was nothing, but it almost felt neutral, which is kind of strange to say, but
Yeah.
it just felt like home. Like, I'm here,
Yeah.
let's go. And, one part that Melissa missed out was that my previous girlfriend at the time invited Melissa over for dinner to my house. And so Melissa was at one end of the table, I was at the other end, and my girlfriend at the time was in the middle. And she was just like playing tennis with her head between the two of us because we were just going on and on and on. And at the end of the dinner, my girlfriend said, Melissa's your dream woman.
No, she said, Melissa's your dream woman, isn't she? And you were like,
I thought it was a strong comment to come from your girlfriend. And so I
How
sort of
did
let
you
it
respond
pass.
to that? Did you feel like she was at the time?
No, I just thought she was really interesting. And,
Yeah.
I just sort of let it pass. And we're still really good friends with her, and I'm grateful for the somewhat
Invitation.
introduction.
Yeah, right.
Hey, did you have your son Leo at that point?
Yeah, so Leo, gosh, believe it or not, is in year 12 finishing his
Oh, wow.
his HSC at the moment. So that's gone by very, very quickly. So he's 17. He's a beautiful, beautiful boy, young man. Couldn't be more proud. He goes to school in Sydney, and we fly him here all the time. And we used to see him regularly. I used to go back and forth every 2 weeks, but then COVID kind of put a stop to that, and then we couldn't see each other. It was really challenging period for us. But yeah, it's been a journey for sure, and we're all in a good place, which is great.
Yeah.
Was that a big adjustment for you?
Being
For you,
away from Leo?
actually, for Melissa, was that an adjustment coming into a relationship with a son?
Not at all. Not at all.
it's probably been my biggest spiritual assignment, being a stepmother. And it's actually so interesting because a friend of ours, Dr. Golly, he's an incredible baby doctor, pediatrician, and he wants me to come on his podcast. And we were voice messaging this morning, and he's like, I want you to come on and share about step parenting because, you've navigated it and you have a very, positive and spiritual look on it. And I'd love for you to come and share. And I do. And it's a really different situation. It's like nothing else because you are, the thing is like for women, mothering is very natural for us. When your friends' children come over, you automatically go into that nurturer, that mother-like figure. When you've got nieces or nephews, you automatically do that. But then you have this child come into your home and you're meant to kind of parent them, but then you can't kind of parent them because there's someone else that's like, it's the weirdest thing. And so it's like finding your role, like finding your position, like has been really challenging for me. And one of our mentors, he said, just be the fun aunt, just be that. Don't be the parent. Don't try and be the parent. You're not the parent. He's got two parents.
Yeah.
You're not the parent. Just be the fun, older aunt type figure. And I was like, okay, right, do it. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be the fun aunt. I'm going to be the fun aunt. I'm going to be the fun aunt. And then he comes and like you immediately just go into parenting and mothering. But then I'm like, catching myself and I'm like, no, don't do that. Like, just be the fun one. So it's been a real journey.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm very, very grateful. Like, he is a dream child, like, he's a dream. And it could have been so different. It could have been really, yeah, I've heard other stories, but it has its challenges and it has its perks. And it's definitely shifted since having Bambi, who's almost 2, our 2-year-old daughter, who's
Right.
just so beautiful. It's definitely shifted our relationship. Well, the whole dynamic of the family has shifted. And, we have now this beautiful little girl to all bond over. Because as much as, I try and express interest in Leo's things like cricket and Formula One driving, like, I'm not really interested in it. But, I'll ask him questions. But, we now have this beautiful baby girl to all love on and bond over. So it's definitely shifted since having Bambi, but I'm not perfect and I'm always learning and wanting to be better and, slipping up. And yeah, it's a journey, that's for sure.
Yeah. We had Osher Ginsberg and his wife Audrey in not long ago, and he became a stepdad to her daughter about the same age.
Yeah, pretty close to it. Yeah.
And he talked a lot about those challenges, and they actually sought help because you could get free mental health and free parenting advice from hospitals, which I didn't know that. I didn't know you could get free help. I thought that was an amazing facility that we offer here in Australia. And he said it just turned his life around, like getting his head around what that actually meant as a step parent. And their relationship's really great now, but it was a bit dicey, wasn't it? He was saying.
I mean, as you say, I imagine it would be very hard to stay out of things sometimes, especially when you can see a dynamic happening and going, "Whoa, I've just got to step in, and I can be the voice of reason here because I'm not emotionally charged." But yeah, that must have been tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And also then there's like my judgment of like, oh, well, I wouldn't have brought him up that way. I wouldn't have done it that way. That sort of thing too pops in. And then I'm like, this is not my role. This is not my role. So yeah, that's also popped up.
How was it for you, Nick, when little Bambi arrived into the world?
Oh, I think having a daughter is different to having a son. I think especially for a father, it's different. I don't know. I feel like having a daughter softens you quite a lot, and I can't imagine not having her. It's impossible to think of not having her in our life. She's just such a little bright spark and so much fun and so gorgeous. It's been amazing, and certainly it's been nice to play that role of the sort of slightly more confident parent because Melissa hasn't done this before. It was much more, it was easier for me when something was a bit, off with sleep or with feeding or whatever it would be. I always know that, well, in the long run, it all works out. This might be a rough patch now, but we're all good.
Yeah.
That was actually really such a positive thing. Having someone who has been through it before, like, was just so good. It gave me that confidence, like, in the early days when you're like, why do they have all these pimples all over their face? What's going on? He's like, it's all good. It's just, milk pimples. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like just those little things.
Yeah.
And I was chatting to another friend who married a divorced man who has a son as well. And we were chatting and she was like, aren't divorced men the best men? And I was like, they are the best men because they've stuffed up big time. Well, before they've been through it all before. So they know what to do this time. And it is true. And what not to do. And it's true. Like, he's and he's an amazing dad, and watching him with Bambi is so beautiful because obviously Leo, it's a bit more like they play, but then being this beautiful, soft, loving, nurturing dad, it's so beautiful to witness. Their relationship is so cute and so special.
I wanted to quickly acknowledge your podcasting. I've listened to you both, and it's quite a congratulations to both of you on your achievements. Nick, you're over 100 episodes. You've got a huge following. Melissa, you just ticked over 500 episodes, 20 odd million downloads on your podcast, and your guests. Like, when we lived in LA, I mean, Marianne Williamson, I used to go see her on Wednesday nights occasionally speak. Esther Perel, the Iceman, Wim Hof, Glennon Doyle,
My favorite,
right?
or one of my favorites, yeah.
Aaron Brockovich. I mean, what the heck? Jay Shetty. The Today Show would love to have these people on it. How are you guys doing it? What's your secret? What's the sauce?
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we love what we do so much. And Nick just recorded his second album last week as well. So on top of all of that, and yeah, our latest book, Time Magic, has just come out.
Yeah.
We're going to get to that.
We'll
yeah.
get to that,
yeah.
The podcast is just How do we do it? How do we do it?
I think it's credit to Melissa. She's incredibly consistent and very prolific with her content creation, and she doesn't have any limiting beliefs around who she can have on the show. She just goes after whoever she wants.
Yeah.
Right.
And did that from day one. And one leads to another and another, and you sort of find yourself in this network of amazing people who they're actually quite supportive, and it's been amazing to watch. And we still have we've got some big names in there. We had Tony Robbins booked in, he cancelled 10 minutes before the interview.
No, like literally, I was ready, hair and makeup done. But there's a thing called Tony Time, which I didn't know about, and that's like he has his own time.
Yeah.
He was actually, his assistant was like, he's running 3 hours behind from his interview before you, and I was like, 3 hours?
Which actually comes from his generosity, because he was doing something else and he just wants to over deliver so much.
Right.
So we're still trying to get that one back in, and our big one is Oprah. We're still working on Oprah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
One day it'll happen.
I mean, I know this is always it's a terrible question to ask a podcaster, but if you could sort of put someone in your top 5, I'm not going to say your favorite, but have you had someone in your top 5 that you really is most memorable for you?
There's been quite a few. Obviously, I love interviewing Nick because that's so fun.
Yeah.
So he's definitely up there. But yeah, Glennon Doyle was a really beautiful interview. And not only because she's so wise, but she is such a nice human. So nice, over delivers, stayed on, way after we finished recording to chat, so generous with her time. She was amazing. Yeah, Wim Hof was cool as well.
Yeah.
Actually, a funny story about Wim. A friend of ours was around here yesterday, and she said, we were looking at houses at inspections around here in the Sunshine Coast, and my husband goes, "Is that Wim Hof in the inspection?" And she's like, "No, that can't be. He wouldn't be here." And it was him looking for
was
rentals
him.
on the Sunshine Coast. Yeah.
Yeah, he lives here now.
Yeah.
No way. In one of the hottest places, Mr. Ice Bath has decided to move. Wow.
It's perfect. It's the perfect place for it.
So funny you say that, because I was talking to someone yesterday who met him last week, and they'd only ever seen him on TV or on other videos and stuff. When she saw him in real life, she said he didn't match what I thought he was going to look like. I thought he was going to be this behemoth of a man who was like a superhero, and then he was just kind of like this normal little kind of pudgy old fella. I said, "Oh, shoes, never meet your heroes."
I've never, I wouldn't have described him.
But you look at his face and you go, "Wow, look at this dude." He's like, "Wow," and then what he talks about is incredibly important as well. Can I ask you something, guys? You both talked about hitting rock bottom in some way, shape, or form in your life. Nick, you tell that story where you're in a Sydney hospital with a massive headache that turned out to be acute meningitis. Nothing cute about that. And you required a long rehab period. And then Melissa, and I'm assuming this is correct because it was on your website, wasn't on Wiki pages, which is where I normally do my research, and I can't find you on there. So you're ruining my research pattern. Paraphrasing, right? Working way too much in order to feel successful, not loving myself at all. I was highly stressed and anxious. Drugs and alcohol were my go-to quick fixes. I was dealing with panic attacks. I lived off champagne and canapes. I don't know, is that bad? That's bad. My entire immune system shut down, and the severity of a cold sore virus sent me straight to hospital. Here you guys are today. Now, the universe said stop, or we'll make you stop. Did you two bond over these hard times? Was that why, in hitting these rock bottoms, is that part of the reason why you two are in such incredible health and spirit today?
Well, yes, I think that when you lose your health to such an extent, you never want to do that again. So, well, certainly that was our experience. And we wanted to make sure that the way we live is in alignment with our core values, which, very, very much our core value is health, or one of our core values is health. And in terms of bonding over it, I think it's not so much bonding over the pain, it's more bonding over the fact that we had both had to do so much work on ourselves to get to a certain place of self, I guess, contentment, happiness, so that when we did meet, we didn't really feel like we were filling in any voids within each other. In fact, it really was maybe just a few days before meeting Melissa, meeting her again when I was single, where I felt for the first time like a complete person, like I didn't need someone else in my life. And I was extremely happy just being Nick with Leo and living my life. And then when Melissa, what even happened? I asked her to do some yoga with me, didn't I? No, sorry. Melissa interviewed me for a series she was doing, and she was sitting on the couch, it was quite funny. She'd never aired it because she was flirting with me so badly.
We bring it out later on. 20-year anniversary, you can bring it out.
Right, find that.
We have to find it. It would be absolute gold, that material.
Yeah.
But it just means we have this common language that we speak in the household in terms of health and nutrition and exercise and fitness. So, there's no friction points there for us.
It is such a core value for both of us, like Nick said, because we've had it taken away from us.
Yeah.
And we didn't know this at the time, but it was 2009 that we were both, was it 2009?
2010, yeah.
Yeah, 2009 or 2010, I can't even remember now. We were both in hospital at the same time, separate hospitals, at the same time. This is before we knew each other, going through these huge challenges, health-wise and emotionally. And it was, the same time. We were both having these really big life upgrades. But yeah, like Nick said, we both value our health so much now because of that. And it's such a core value for us and our family.
And would you also say, having had those experiences as well, it creates more connection with people because, sometimes having those hard times, hitting those rock bottoms, you can actually relate more to people, or people can relate more to you in a lot of ways.
Well, actually, I think Melissa would not be where she is had she not experienced that.
Yeah.
Really, because that's what kickstarted her whole journey. Melissa's whole career really started from just honestly sharing that experience.
Yeah,
and by sharing the experience, that's what made people love her so much.
Yeah.
She was just saying, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing. Maybe you'll benefit from that too. And she really just has done that for her entire career. And it's just changed along the way in terms of what the focus is. At the moment, the focus is parenting and pregnancy and conception and birth and these sorts of things is a big focus for her because she's been through that. And of course, time magic because she has to find ways to create space in her life and be more efficient because she has a child now. So we're always just sharing what's happening in our life and luckily it resonates in some way.
You, just listening to your podcasts and how you talk to each other, how you talk about each other, it's beautiful, and it's. I heard you talking. I mean, it feels like it's a great relationship. You were talking in one thing. You're talking about maintaining the polarity between you both, and I'm going. I don't know what that is, and. I mean, I guess there's a correlation. I think you're talking about masculine and feminine. Could you just talk about that a little bit? Because it was quite interesting, but maybe define what maintaining the polarity between you is. But I just thought it was really key in terms of a relationship.
Yeah, so I talk about this a lot in my second book, Open Wide, A Radically Real Guide to Deep Love, Rocking Relationships, and Soulful Sex. And that very much is a relationship guide. And we talk about the masculine and feminine energies. And we all have masculine, we all have feminine. And when they're out of balance within ourselves, like I know I feel it. When I'm too much in my masculine, I feel very overwhelmed. I feel very stressed. I need to do things to rebalance and come back into more of my feminine energy. And same with Nick. Like if he's too much in his masculine, he knows what he needs to do as well. But then it also translates out into the relationship. I possess more of those feminine energies. I identify as a female and I possess more of those feminine energies. And Nick identifies as a male and he possesses more of the masculine energies. And so there are more of, the masculine roles or the masculine traits. There's more of the feminine traits. And when they're out of balance, that's when we seem to butt heads. When, if I'm in my masculine and he's in his masculine, we just butt heads. And then if, he's in his feminine and I'm in my we just butt heads. And so we're very quick to kind of see, we can see what's happening here. The dynamic is not flowing. One of us is maybe out of balance within ourselves and we need to do whatever it is to help ourselves come back into balance. And I think in all relationships, the more we can take responsibility for ourselves and how we're showing up, the better. Because then we can't project onto the other person and say, you made me feel like this and it's all your fault. That's very easy to do that. And I've done that before in the past and in past relationships, but that actually gets you nowhere. The more that we can take ownership of how we are showing up in all of our relationships, the better that they will be. And I'm not saying like this is super easy all the time and it's a walk in the park, but it is a daily commitment. It's my job to get up earlier before Bambi wakes up and to meditate and to exercise and go for a walk. That's my job to do those things that fill me up so that I can show up as the best mama and the best wife that I can be. Or I can sleep in, roll over, grab my phone and start scrolling social media, even though I know that that's not going to fill me up and that's not going to serve me. That's not taking responsibility for filling myself up. And I think in any dynamic, in any partnership, we need to take ownership, we need to take responsibility and just work out when we're out of balance within ourselves and when our relationship is out of balance. And we know it straight away. Like we know and we're like, okay, we need to take some time to reconnect. We need to have a date. We need to do something. We need to have a conversation. And granted, you have to get more creative when you have children. You can't just sit down in the middle of the day and have a deep and meaningful at 12 o'clock. Like you go, okay, well, once Bambi's in bed at 7, let's sit down and have a chat or let's go on a date. You do have to get a bit more creative when you have children with your time. And that's another thing. Like you don't stop, when you have kids, you don't stop that time together. I know so many couples that do. They stop dating, they stop investing in their partnership, and that's when it starts to go south. So we are so committed, to having that time every week with each other. And sometimes life does get full and, we miss a week and we feel it. We're a little bit, we're a little bit shorter with each other. And we're like, we know why we're shorter with each other.
Have you guys done therapy ever together? Do you ever bring a third person in and that helps you as well?
Many, many, many times.
Okay, yeah.
Many times, yeah. And we've got lots of different mentors, therapists, guides, whatever you want to call them, coaches that we'll see. And we kind of know, let's have a session with this person, to kind of like regroup. We've had to do it a lot actually over step parenting. We've done
That's the main one.
Yeah, we've done
Yeah.
some internal family systems, which is an incredible healing system. And we've done that together, internal family systems. And yeah, we've done lots of different therapy and healing together.
It usually is over something specific that's coming up and we're not able to resolve swiftly enough within ourselves. And, perhaps the communication's not at the level that it could be. And we
Yeah.
just need that third party sometimes to come in and offer a different perspective. And it's not often, like we go through patches
Yeah.
in 1 year, maybe never. But maybe 1 year we do 10 sessions because we're just trying to move through something together. Generally, we can get through things, but sometimes, it just pays to have that extra neutral party come in and just support you.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
actually, you answered a question I was going to ask, given that, Melissa, you've written these 3 previous books to Time Magic, where you've sort of covered a lot of relationship stuff. And I'm thinking, you've probably got all the answers. Is there anything that knocks you backwards? And I guess there it is. It's the step parenting thing. Is there anything else that sort of knocks you backwards, even after? Because I know Ali has written a book on menopause. And you've sort of go, well, she must be the expert. She knows all about it. But
Oh, God,
there's
no.
got to be things that still kick your ass, right?
Yeah, I think for me, it's definitely, would you say step parenting? That would be the first thing that I would say.
I think as well, just career, because everything we're doing is just things that we're making up in our heads and going, let's do this now and let's do that, you know. There's no path for it. There's no manual. So we're just making this stuff up as we go. And sometimes that can be stressful and can put a strain on the relationship. One of the biggest challenges we have is when I get pulled too much into the business side of things and away from my music.
Right.
That's been a constant thing for us. This album that I've just finished is probably a year overdue because I've been constantly pulled into things. And mind you, it's probably my fault because I haven't put the teams and systems in place to replace me properly. But that's definitely something which we tend to come up against quite a lot. Look, there's always something in relationships. The key thing is that certainly right now, it's hard to say forever, but this feels like this is forever for us. So we're not looking for an out. And so we're always
Looking for ways to work through things.
through.
Yeah.
We're looking for something through all the time.
It's not an option,
Yeah.
leaving is not an option. So it's like, okay, cool. Who do we need to see? Let's book a session. Right, let's do it. Are you free Saturday when Bambi goes to sleep? Like, that's often when we've done them. We're like, as soon as Bambi goes down, we jump on, we have a therapy session. We're so committed to working through it. And the quicker, the better. This is the thing. I see a lot of people where they hold on to resentment for years or decades.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you live with that person, and the quicker that you can move through things together, the better, because ultimately everyone wants harmony in their home. And it's, it's our job as the adults to do that for our children. Like, they deserve balanced parents, or co-parents, whatever it is, they deserve that. And so the more that we can do that for ourselves, like, it affects the entire family ecosystem.
Nick, you wear many different hats in a sense, because you're a musician and then you're business and then you're writing and then, how do you manage that all? Is that a challenge for you?
Well, that's literally why we wrote Time Magic. because-
Excellent.
On to the book. There we
There's
go.
a segue.
There's your segue. Because that was the question that Melissa and I got asked all the time. How are you doing all this
Yeah.
and still, being able to spend an hour or two at the beach each day and just have a life?
Yeah.
And we had developed a way of working together and separately that was just highly optimized and streamlined. The way that we ran our life was just highly optimized, because if we didn't do that, we wouldn't achieve what we want to achieve in this lifetime, because there's so many things we want to do. And so that's literally why we wrote Time Magic, because we were getting asked so much. We wanted to provide people with the Bible of how to create more time, how to reclaim their time, reclaim their life, because it's not a time management book. It's not about squeezing more into every day, how to, packing more in. It's not about that. We don't want people to do that. You know, if you look at the way that the average person spends their time over a lifetime, we have around 26 years of sleep. We have around 13, 14 years of work. For a teenage boy now, if they get a mobile phone at the average age of 15, which I would say it's younger now, but
Yeah.
average age of 15, and you add that to the adult's time spent on the phone, they will spend approximately 13 years on their phone in their
Oh my
lifetime.
God.
That makes me feel
Right.
sick.
That's 13 solid years
Yeah.
without stopping every
Yeah.
second of the day, right?
Yeah.
So when you take all these things and then you've got, yeah, I think it was 4.5 years eating, sorry, there was all these statistics we put together in the book. When you zoom out, the average person living 79, 80 years, it leaves most people with about 1.12 years to do the things they love. That's it. And that's a shocking statistic.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've managed to create a lifestyle where we're doing the things we love every day. So we're very, very fortunate, but it's come through a lot of work to get to that point. And Time Magic offers all the steps to practically create more time, whether you want to get to inbox zero every day or retire from email altogether, whether you want to just have better health and feel more fresh, get better sleep, how to use your calendars properly. Like, it's literally the most practical book. And in the first chapter or the introduction, we say, our promise to you in this book is to offer more value
Yeah.
than any other book you'll read in less time, because that's what people need now. Everyone is so time stretched and asking the same question, where did my time go?
Yeah.
It's something I hear as a mum all the time. So many people at like my daughter's little holistic play group and friends and then also just online, they say like, it goes so fast. It goes so fast.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, they're now 5. Oh my God, they're now 15. And like, I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to feel like I'm missing my daughter's life. Like, I don't want to feel like that. I want to be so present with every moment that I have with her. And that is why we wrote this book and we had to share this book. And we actually, this is like a fun little fact that we've never shared anywhere before. We wrote this book years ago. And then we parked it because I got an intuitive download that this was not the time for this book, and that Comparisonitis, which was my third book,
Yeah.
was next. So I went and wrote Comparisonitis, and then I got pregnant, had a baby. Then my publisher messaged us and said, "It's time for Time Magic. You got how much longer have you got to write?" And at that time, I think we had about 20,000 words left. And she said, "It is time." And we have an incredible publisher with HarperCollins, and she just is like, "This is the time." And it was just after COVID. She's like, people are just drowning in stress and
Yes.
overwhelm and exhaustion. And it's time for this book now. It could not have come earlier because, like, during COVID, it couldn't have come out then. During COVID, actually, this is another little fun insight into the publishing world. The most bought books during COVID was fiction novels. So people were wanting to escape. They were
Yes.
wanting to go into another world. Self-help was put on the back burner.
Yeah.
And now after COVID, self-help is through the freaking roof because everyone's like, I need to look after my mental health. I
Yeah.
need to get back on track. So that's why the publisher was like, now is the time for Time Magic. And I was like, I've just had a baby. Nah, I don't want to do it. And then she was like, you have to trust me. Like, this is the time. And so we just jumped back on board. We applied all of the things that we talk about in the book. And I was able to write the book whilst having a toddler. And I never work in front of her. Like, I only work when she's sleeping and we have a nanny take her for 2 hours a day. And so I work in that time and I get to be present with her all of the other times during the day. And this is the stuff that we just wanted to share with people, and mainly all the people that were saying, how do you guys do it all? And I also say that, and I'm like, we're not perfect. I don't want anyone to think we like have this magical unicorn perfect life. Like, we still have things that get presented to us and challenges, and you know, your daughter gets a fever and you freak out, and you know, those things still happen. But when you apply the principles in Time Magic, you're able to move through things a lot quicker, and you're able to really get perspective on your life. And it's just, it really does make you value what's really important in your life.
I can't wait to dig into it properly because, I mean, if it works as you guys claim it will, it's going to be a revolution. I mean, you're talking about not just freeing up time to do more of what you want. You're talking about adding years to your life. And then you go
Absolutely.
on to say, reclaim 16 years of your life. Like, that's really specific. I understand more now what you're talking about with what you were talking about, Nick, when you were breaking it down earlier. Just back to that COVID thing, I must have read 7 Jack Reacher novels.
Yeah. I think you went through the whole library.
I did the whole thing. I loved it. The book is out early April, is that correct? Or is it out? It's not out now, is it?
It's available for pre-order at the moment. Yes.
Oh, it is.
And then it's out
Okay.
April 5th in Australia.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah.
Great.
That's fantastic. I wish you so much luck with it. But it just, like I said, I can't wait to dig into it because time management or, just utilizing and being comfortable with doing things for I have such a struggle playing golf. Ali's going, no, he doesn't. He
Well,
goes off. But
you struggle a lot,
I
clearly,
struggle out there
'cause you
because
play a lot.
I'm like, I shouldn't be out here. I actually should be writing music.
No, you should be out on the golf course.
Thanks,
like,
Melissa.
That's what we talk about in the book. Like, you've got 1.2 years of your life to do the things that you really love. Like, no, so when we break it down in the book, when you're left, like if you have a pie and you've got, 13 years for work and this and that, and then you've only got this tiny little section for the things that you love and enjoy, we're about expanding that, and reclaiming 16 years of your life, which is what we teach you how to do in the book, how to reclaim 16 years of your life, how to extend your life. So we talk about everyday longevity, and there's a whole chapter on health hacks and everyday longevity, because there's no point extending your life if you are riddled with disease and you can't enjoy your life. We want you to be doing down dog and headstands and cartwheels right up until the end. And if you follow the principles in the book, you'll be able to do that.
I love it. Love it. Okay, the book is Time Magic. It's out it's out soon. Get it. Oh, we've got our copy. Cannot wait. Thanks, Melissa. You got yours. You got yours too. Did you sign your copy? Mine's not. We want a signed copy. I want to get this signed from this.
We signed 1,000 copies yesterday.
Did you?
Oh, it's a lot. We do something called the 2-minute shower just to finish up. And it's just keeping your answers as short as you possibly can. If they can be one word, they can be more than one word.
What do you miss when you're not together?
Touch.
Everything.
Is there a time in your life that you'd like to revisit?
Yeah. I would love to revisit some of those moments on stage in front of tens of thousands of people and just remember, to have that at such a young age was so precious, and not to forget that feeling. And my wish is that I had have continued to pursue that and not had such a long break. I mean, everything's perfect, but, I took that for granted, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
Well, I wouldn't go back further than 2 years, because then it would mean Bambi wasn't there. But if I could take Bambi, I mean, even just like our wedding day, that was so fun. And our birth, we had a beautiful home birth with Bambi. Yeah.
Can I add one more thing to that?
Yeah.
Because it's time to Time Magic, and this is going back to the times where I was with Leo when he was younger, and I wasn't present with him. I was physically present, but not emotionally and mentally present. If we were playing cricket, I was on the phone doing a sale. I was in real estate at the time. If I could go back and have those times again and be truly present with him and create a space that was more magical and more spacious, I would do anything for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Who's better at dancing?
Well, she was a professional dancer, so come on. Although our audience do love my dances.
Well, it's hardly dancing, but I used to be a professional dancer, so I think I take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can give it to yourself, Mel.
Yeah.
What the world needs more of is.
Love, compassion, understanding, respect for each other's opinions, empathy.
Yeah.
I would tie into that, but I'd tie it into the environment. I think the being more aware of what our everyday choices are doing to the environment, and knowing that the responsibility to change things actually lies with us now, not us in 10 years or our children, because our children and our grandchildren are going to be a product of our choices now. And on a whole, we're making the wrong choices all the time. And, I think if we could start to change that on a bigger scale, that'd be very, very exciting.
Great.
Okay, last question. Describe each other in one word.
The first thing that came to my head was funny. That was the first one that came to my head. Don't think about it too much.
Okay, the first word that came to my head was energetic.
Yeah, nice.
Funny and energetic.
Funny and energetic. That's awesome.
Fit together. That's good. That goes along with your masculine and feminine both fitting in the same screen. There you go.
Yeah.
It's so great having you both on, and wish you so much luck with the book. We'll be reading it and applying what you've got in there. So I can't wait to see you in 6 months' time and say, hey, I've just reclaimed a whole lot of time.
There you go.
We hope you do. It's all there for you.
All the best to you both. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Well, there they are, Melissa Ambrosini and Nick Broadhurst. I really enjoyed that. Cannot wait to get into the book.
Fantastic. Well, I was just so grateful to talk to them. They've lived such interesting lives, the two of them.
Yeah, and their busy lives.
Busy lives, yeah. But they've seemed to have found a good balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, good on them.
Awesome. Okay, we will catch up with you next time on Separate Bathrooms. Thanks so much for being with us. Can you do us a favour? Rate and review the podcast. It helps us get it out there, and we really appreciate it. So take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.